5. Oop.
Hello, everyone! Welcome to Chapter 6, Linear Trig Equations. It should say quadratic equations. It says equations, whatever.
Okay.
This is Miss Osier.
And Miss LaHart.
And here we go.
Oh, okay. It is the right video.
Miss LaHart was giving me eyes like I had the wrong thing
Not
on.
it.
Like, I
X-nay.
swear I'm right.
X-nay. No, I just labeled the beginning wrong.
We're good.
Okay.
So, solve for cosine squared theta minus 3 equals 0.
Okay. Again, still kind of the same concept, except with quadratics, you got to remember that your goal is to get everything over to one side and factor. Oh, there's that F word.
There it is. Oh, I love a good factor.
Factor.
Now, sometimes though you don't factor. Like sometimes you just take the square root, but it's totally up to you how you want to do it.
So for example, here we go. This is a good one because if you were to put in the x, and again, I highly advise if you struggle with looking at the cosine, put it in x.
Yes.
Okay?
If you struggle with the last learning target, put an x in this learning target. Trust us.
Now, so when we solve this, we said it equals to 0. It's not a GCF. It's not a factor by grouping. It's not a trinomial. So that's the only other method you have is to isolate your quadratic or squared term and take the square root.
Which is what we did. Do not forget when you take a square root, you get plus or minus.
Please don't forget this.
This is really important.
So guess what? You're going to have 4 answers for this.
So we get radical 3 over 2. You guys should be fine with that, I hope.
Remember we said in learning target 3 that you only plug in the positive inverse, okay?
And that pops out 30.
Which is one of our quadrants because cosine being positive or negative, there's one in all 4 of the quadrants.
Yep. Plus or minus, everybody works.
Everybody gets a
0 to 2 pi, people. 0 to 2 pi. Boom.
Okay, so there's with us using the reference angles 180 minus 30, 180 plus 30, and 360 minus 30, and then me switching them to radian measure.
Because it says 0 to 2 pi.
And
boom.
There's the beautiful
answer. Oh, that's
answer.
really nice.
Yep, you're welcome.
Well done.
Pause us and write us down.
Solve 2 sine square x minus 3 sine x plus 1 equals 0.
Okay, looking at that,
right? But it's really just 2x squared minus 3x plus 1.
That's a lot simpler.
This is definitely an AC factor.
Yep, definitely AC method. Look at me pulling the AC method.
Boom, 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 boom. We're not going to go through that because you guys know how to do that. Should know how to do that. Okay. X minus 1 times 2x minus 1. I almost said over. That's not true. And then we get x equals 1 and x equals 1/2. That means that we have 2 separate things to solve for. Okay. All right. So where is sine 1?
So stick it back because remember, once you do your x, where is sine is the y? Where's
Boom.
the y?
Right there.
Pi over 2.
Pi over 2. Just pi over 2.
Or 90.
Because we're in degrees, question mark?
I think,
Probably.
I don't know.
And then when we do the inverse of sine, we get 30.
And then because sine is positive in both quadrant 1 and quadrant 2,
Hey,
180
STC.
minus 30 is 150.
Boom.
Now remember, these are equations. So guess what you can do with your answers?
Check yourself, people.
Woo! Check
so if
yourself.
you go back right up here and you plug 30 in, you should get 0.
As long as you're in degree.
Yes, right. You need to be in degree. You plug 90 in, you're going to get 0. If you plug 150 in, you're going to get 0. And if you don't, it means you made a mistake, or in this case, we made a mistake, but we didn't because we checked it.
We hope so.
2 cosine
my
theta plus
God.
radical 2 cosine theta secant theta equals 0. What just happened?
Okay, so
Take a
again,
breath. Take a breath.
we got cosine, so I'm going to let cosine equals x, and then I'm going to let secant equal y, and then I'm going to rewrite it and see what we see. All right, definitely not a quadratic. But
GCF.
GCF
They
also
both have an
works.
X.
Yes,
Oh my
take that x
goodness.
out of there. Now,
So now we have x equals 0, and we have 2 plus radical 2y equals 0,
Ugh.
which we can simplify further.
oh, that was a lot easier than I thought it would
Boom.
be.
Look at that, everyone.
Okay, so now let's go back to, remember, plug your x was cosine, y is secant. So where's the cosine 0? 90 and 270.
Boom.
All right.
Where is secant theta pi or negative 2 over radical 2? Well, we got to do a little bit.
Now remember, some of the calculators are in test mode, some aren't, okay? You can,
Whoops.
whatever works, whatever calculator you have, if you have one that's not in test mode, you can do the inverse of secant, okay? Remember, plug in the positive. If not, just, flip it, put in the cosine, because that's the reciprocal function.
And they're all saying right now that they're just going to find one that's not in test mode. That's what they're
Well,
all thinking inside their
What
head.
happens if all those are gone?
Yeah, right?
Huh?
What if we put them all in
What do
test
we
mode?
say? So where is secant negative? Secant is the reciprocal of cosine, so where's cosine negative?
At the S and the T, people.
So that would be 3 and 4. So again, plug in the positive answer.
Always the positive.
You get 45 popping out. So then the reference
Not an
angle.
answer. These are the answers.
Yep, 180 minus 45, and then 180 plus 45 should be 225, and
So we
those
have
are your
4
4
answers.
answers.
So boom.
Holy moly.
Oh my goodness. So again, we could make 1 equal x or a and 1 equal b. So here we're letting tangent equal a and cosecant equal b.
Now I'm seeing some things going on. I'm going to get everything over to one side and see what we see.
I like to see what I see. So when I subtract a b,
or when I add a b over, it just becomes a b.
When I add, that's what I meant.
But when I subtract 3b over, those two things cancel each other out. So I'm just left with that expression.
Boom.
That's a GCF. So you take out an a,
Boom.
then plug your trig functions back in. So where is tangent 0? This should be good. Tangent's the y over x. So that would mean
0.
0 over 1.
And 180.
Yep.
Look at us go. And then tangent of theta, oh, that's us thinking, sorry.
Yep.
And then radical 2 plus b means b equals negative radical 2. B is the reciprocal of sine. So you can either do whichever way you want to.
Depending on what calculator you have.
So sine is negative in both the third and fourth quadrant. Always plug the positive into the calculator. 45, boom.
Reference angle,
Boom.
180 plus 45 and 360 minus 45. Those are your two answers for that one. So your total answerage, is that a word?
0, no.
Okay.
0, 180, 225, and 315.
Sounds like a good word.
It does.
Answerages.
Don't forget, you can verify your solutions.
Using your graphing calculator. It does take a little bit because you have to fix your windows and yada, yada, yada. But
Yep.
that is an option. You plug in one, you plug in the other, and then just see where they intersect.
You can also just plug this in like this with all the stuff, and it'll say true or false.
Yep.
We'll show you how to do that too. Have a great day. We'll see you in class.
Bye.